Welcome students. So we are going to continue with where we have left last week, okay, the last session. So we were doing factorization. In factorization we had done two methods, okay, one was Formet's factorization method and second one was Pollard P-1 factorization method. This is the third factorization method that we are learning today, that is the quadratic sieve method, okay, the quadratic sieve, which is similar to Formet's method, okay. So we basically try to find out the square modulo n, okay, in this algorithm, okay, and check the factors of a bigger given number to you, okay. So now when the problem is being asked in the paper, it will be asked to solve a particular, like for example, to find out factors of number n using quadratic sieve, okay, to find out the factor of certain numbers, okay, like for example, to find out the factor of a number 3, 4, 2, 7 using quadratic sieve. So when it is mentioned in the question that you have to find out the factors using quadratic sieve, means you have to use this method. You cannot use any other method like Formet's method or Pollard P-1. Definitely Pollard P-1 you won't be able to use because you require a value of bound over there. Over here there is no value of bound. So I'm just clarifying that whenever it is given to you to solve the problem in that form, in that method, you have to use that method only. Okay, before we start, let me tell you this is a very complex method, okay. It's a complex method and quite a difficult method compared to your method 1 and method 2 of factorization. Okay, so let me just start with an example. I have not given you a theoretical explanation of what we are doing in quadratic sieve. You will be able to understand when we go through the steps, okay. I have solved two problems, okay, so when we go through the steps of this problem, okay. So let me start with this problem. So the question over here that is asked to you is nothing but use the quadratic sieve method. I have written a shortcut over here. Use the quadratic sieve method to find the factor of number 3427. Okay, so a number is given to us 3427. They have told us to find out two factors of this number 3427. Okay, so in step number 1, as I have written over here, my step number 1, we need to calculate what is square root of n. Okay, square root of n is nothing but now I calculate what is the square root of n. My n value is nothing but 3427. I get the square root as 58.5408 something. So I directly round it off to 59. Okay. So irrespective of what number is present over here, it is 01, 02, 03, you have to directly round it off to the next value. So I have rounded out my 58.54 to 59. Okay. Now step number 2 is very important. Step number 2 is to perform the square modulo n of 59. So over 59 we will perform the square modulo n. The square modulo n is nothing but the almost similar thing that we have done in our Formet's factorization method. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to calculate square root of n square, okay, congruent to number x1. Okay, we are going to calculate this number x1 mod of n. Okay, so this is nothing but this is as good as, so when we go to the step number 2, next step I will explain you. So we are going to calculate the square modulo n. So this is nothing but square root of n square congruent to x1 mod n. This is square root of n plus 1 square, okay, congruent to x2 mod of n. So over here we will be calculating the value of x1 and x2, okay, until and unless, so we will continue this, we will continue this with, my next step will be square root of n plus 2, okay, till what we are going to continue, we are going to continue until we find out a perfect square in x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, so on and so forth. Okay, so we are going to continue to find out this square modulo n, that is square root of n square, square root of n plus 1 square, square root of n plus 2 square, until and unless we find out a number over here which is a perfect square. The moment we find out a perfect square in this equation, we are going to stop the square modulo n. Okay, so let us see our example. In our example, first what we have to do, so this will be my step number 1, square root of n square. What is square root of n, which we already calculated as 59. Okay, so 59 square congruent to which number x1 mod of 3427. Now as you know, this expression can be written, this is as good as 59 square, okay, 59 square mod of 3427. Okay, so this is as good as 59 square mod of 3427. So whatever remainder we are getting, we will write it over here. So now you need to solve what is 59 square mod of 3427. So when we solve what is 59 square mod of 3427, okay, we get the answer as 54. So now my x1 value is 54. Now what is my next step? I need to check if it is a perfect square as it is mentioned over here. Okay, so I check whether 54 is perfect square. No, 54 is not a perfect square. So when I try to find out the square root of it, it will be a perfect square, but therefore we can say that it's not a perfect square. Okay, it's not a perfect square. So when it is not a perfect square, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for now step number 2. That is square root of n plus 1 the whole square. Okay. Now square root of n plus 1, what is square root of n is nothing but 59. 59 plus 1 is nothing but 60. So 60 square congruent to number x2 mod 3472. Again, this is also similar to what? 60 square, okay, 60 square mod of 3427 should be, okay, the answer for this x2. So when we solve this, we get the answer as 173. Okay, 173 is also not a perfect square. So 73 is a prime number. It is not a perfect square. Similarly, we solve for step number 3, that is square root of n plus 2 now. That is 61 square mod of 3427. We get the answer as 294. Okay, 294 is also not a perfect square. So we go for square root of n plus 4. Okay, when we go for square root of n plus, square root of n plus 3. Okay, square root of n plus 3 is 59 plus 3 is 62. So 62 square mod of 3427, we get the answer as 417. 417 also is not a perfect square. Okay, so we go to the next square root of n plus 4, that is 63 square. Okay, so we get the answer as 542. Okay, again we solve for C. Now the question arises over here is when we need, where do we need to stop? Okay, so we will do for minimum 5 iteration, minimum 5 to 6 iterations, starting from square root of n till square root of n plus 5. Okay, square root of n till square root of n plus 5. I have done here more, but you don't need to do more. You can do maximum starting from square root of n to square root of n plus 5 if you are not finding the perfect square. Now till 63 we have not got a perfect square. Okay, so we go to 64 square mod of 2. Again 64 square we get it as 669. Again 669 is not a perfect square. I hope all of you understand what is a perfect square. When you find out the square root of this number, it should be a direct number without a decimal. It should be a real number. Okay, so it should be a number which should be a perfect square. Okay, 65 square, I go to the next step. 65 square mod of 3427, I get the answer 798. 798 is also not a perfect square. Okay, so you all can solve this up till this method also. You all can solve for square root of n, n plus 1, n plus 2, n plus 3, n plus 4, n plus 5. Okay, so now why I was calling this as a complex method is only because of this. So if we are not finding any of the square root, or if we are not finding any of this number as a perfect square, here we did not find out 54, 173, 294, 417, 554, 798, none of these numbers are perfect square. So what I need to do? Do I need to continue? No. I cannot continue this because if I continue this, till what number we are going to continue? So we will have to find out for so many numbers until and unless you get what is a perfect square. So when you are not getting up to 5 steps, okay, up till square root of n plus 5, we will stop there. I have calculated one extra. So what is my step number 3 now? My step number 3 will be to find the factors of the equivalences. Okay, to find out the factor of the equivalences. Okay, so now when you see, so my third step will be to find out the factor of the equivalences. What do you mean by factor of equivalences is nothing but, now what value of x1? So this is nothing but the value of x1 that we have got. This is nothing but the value of x2. This is nothing but the value of x3. This is nothing but the value of x4. This is nothing but the value of x5. Okay, this is nothing but x6 or this is nothing but x7. So I will find out the factors of this x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, x7. Okay, so I find out x1 is nothing but 54, which corresponds to 59. It is 59 congruent to 54 mod to your number. Okay, that is nothing but 3427. So 59 congruent to 50. So 54 factors of 54. So when I find out the factors of 54, what do I get? 2 2s are 4. Okay, 2 7s are 24. 3 9s are 27, 3 3s are 9, 3 1s are 3. So what is the factor? 2 into 3 raised to 3. So this is nothing but 3 raised to 3 into 2. Okay. Now similarly 173. There are no factors of 173 because it is a prime number. Okay. Now 294. So when we calculate the factors of 294, so when I calculate the factors of 294, what factors do I get? So this is 1, 4, 7. Okay. So then we multiply with this. 3 4s are 12, 3 9 are 27, okay, 7 7s are 49, 7 1s are 7. So what are the factors? 2, 3 and 7 square. Okay, similarly we go for 417. So when we calculate for 417, what do we get? For 417 only one number can multiply, okay. We will find out 417. So 417 only I think 3 1s are 3, okay, 3 3s are 9, 3 9s are 27. So again it will remain as 139. Okay, so this will remain as 139. Okay, 139. So this number over here is not 319, it is 139. So 3 into 139 will be equal to 417. Similarly for 542. Okay, so calculate for 542. So 542, what are the factors for 542? So 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4, 2 sevens are 14, 2 ones are 2. Again 271 is a prime number. 271 into 1 is 271. So factors are 2 into 271. Similarly for 699. Okay, so 699 also you calculate, you get the factor. Let me calculate for 699. Okay, so 669, sorry. So we can see 3 twos are 3, 6 3 twos are 3 threes are 9. Okay, and then again 223 into 1. So that's why it is 3 into 223. Similarly for 798, okay, if we calculate for 798, what do we get? When we calculate for 798, it is 2 3s are 6, 2 9s are 18, 2 9s are 18, okay, and again, sorry, so 3 1s are 3, 3 3s are 9, 3 3s are 9, and again remains. So 2 into 3 into 133. So these are the factors that we have calculated for values of x1 which corresponds to a values of square root of n, square root of n plus 1, square root of n plus 2, square root of n plus 3, square root of n plus 4, square root of n plus 5. So these are basically nothing but your square values. All these are your square values. All these are your square values to which you correspond. You find out the values of your x1, x2, x3, x4, 5, x5. Now what is step number 4? Now this is very important. Step number 4 is nothing but determine which combination of RHS in step number 3. RHS is nothing but these are your RHS. Whatever factors you have got now, those are nothing but your RHS. So determine which combinations of RHS in step 3 gives you a perfect square. Okay, now I'm not getting a perfect square using a single number, right? I tried using 59, I tried using 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. But none of these values are coming as perfect square. So now what I need to do, I need to combine the factors of numbers. I need to combine the factors of two numbers to get a perfect square. So determine which combination, okay, of RHS, okay, that is nothing but your factors that you calculated for each number, okay, gives you a perfect square. So what I will do is now, if I name this, let me use some other color. Okay, so if I name this, okay, so let me name this as expression number 1, okay, so this will be your expression number 2, okay, this will be your expression number 3, okay, this will be your expression number 4, this will be your expression number 5, this will be your expression number 6, and expression number 7. So now I am calculating which combinations of RHS will give me a perfect square. So first I combine factors of equation 1 and 2. Okay, that is nothing but factors of 54 and 173. What are the factors of 54? The factors of 54 are nothing but this factor. 2 into 3 raised to 3. So 2 into 3 raised to 3 multiplied by, what is the factor of 173? It is a prime. So it is directly multiplied over here. So when I multiply it, I get the value. So when I multiply 2 into 3 raised to 3 into 173, I get the value as 3942, which is not a perfect square, because when I find out the square root of it, I get the value as 96.65. Okay, it is not a perfect square, so I'm getting the value of as 96.65. Okay, so now first combination is over. So second combination we want, I will combine my equation 1, that is this equation, with equation 3. Okay, so factors of equation 1 with factors of equation 3, that is nothing but 54 and 294. 54 and 294. So what are the factors of 54 now? You can see the factors of 54 are nothing but 2 raised to 3. Okay, 2 into 3 raised to 3. Okay, that I have taken over here. 2 into 3 raised to 3. And what are the factors of 294? My factors of 294 are nothing but 2 into 3 into 7 square. Okay, 2 into 3 into 7 square. So that I have taken over here, 2 into 3 into 7 square. So when I multiply, so it will basically become, it will be 2 into 3 raised to 3 into 3 into 2 into 7 raised to 2. I am getting answer as square root of 15872, which is nothing but 126. So my second combination of equation 1, okay, and equation 3, I am getting a perfect square of 126. The moment I get perfect square, I need to find out it is associated with which value of n. Okay, now my first value of n is 59 and the second value of n is 64. Okay, so my 59 into 64, 61, not 64. So my 59 into 61, for which factors are this? Okay, do not get confused now. I have combined this 2 and 2 to make it as 2 square. Okay, and this 3 and okay, so this 3 will become as 3 raised to 4. Okay, so 3 raised to 4, 3 raised to 3 into 3 will become as 3 raised to 4, and one value over here is nothing but 7, that is 7 raised to 2. So when I open this bracket, when I try to find out the answer of 2 raised to 2 into 3 raised to 4 into 7 raised to 2, I am getting the answer as 15876. Okay, now when I get the answer, usually on the left hand side it was square, correct? So I have cancelled this square and in the square root of this number, I am getting the answer as 126. Okay, so from this we will find out two values, x and y. These are not your factors. We have just calculated the values x and y. Your x will be those number on the left hand side, okay, which is corresponding to your values of x1, x2, x3. That's 59 into 61, and y will be the value you are finding, that is the square root of the factors. Okay, that is the value y. Now in step number 5 is your verification. Okay, you should always see to it that your x and y value should not be greater than n. Okay, your x and y value should not be greater than n. This x and y should not be greater than n. Now let me check what is the value of x. X is nothing but whatever we have taken over here, that is 59 into 61. 59 into 61 is 3599, which is greater than n. Okay, this n is nothing but the number which is given to you initially, 3427. The moment your x value is greater than n, what we should do, as you all know, we should find out the modulus of that number to calculate the smallest number. So 3599 mod of 3427, okay, we get the answer as 172. Okay, so your new x value will be 172 and y value is 126. 126 is greater than n? No. 126 is smaller than n. So we keep the value as it is. So the value of x is 172 and y is 126. So always keep this step number 5 in mind. You might go with the same value of x and later it will be difficult for you to calculate in the step number 6. So step number 5 is always to check if x and y value is greater than n. Okay, now step 6 is the final step. Okay, step 6 is the final step. Okay, to verify if x is not congruent to plus or minus y mod n. Okay, do you remember something over here? X is not congruent to plus or minus y mod of n. While calculating the while we were checking if the number was prime or not. Okay, if the number was prime or not, we were using this, right? Your x should be congruent to x square should be congruent to y square mod n, and x should not be congruent to plus or minus y mod n. Okay, so we have to verify this formula now. Okay, if this particular equation satisfies, then only we will be able to find out the factors. What will be the factors? Okay, the factors over here, if this condition satisfies, then the factor will be nothing but GCD of x minus y comma n. One factor will be GCD of x minus y, and the second factor will be GCD of x plus y comma n. So it is always compulsory to find out whether this equation x congruent to x should not congruent to plus or minus y mod n should exist. Okay, so let me directly substitute my value of x that I have calculated previously 172. My value of y will be, now I am calculating separately for plus and for minus. Over here it will be plus 126 mod of 3247. When I solve this, I don't get the remainder as 0. So the moment I don't get the remainder as 0, that means that equation is not congruent. Okay. Similarly, I do it for my second equation, that is 172 minus 126 mod of, so this 172, this is minus of 126 mod of 3472. So when I solve this equation, I am not getting my remainder as 0. That means I am satisfying this equation. The moment I satisfy the equation, what are the factors? The factors are nothing but GCD of x minus y comma n and GCD of x plus y comma n. These are the two factors. Okay. So GCD of x minus y. X is 127, y is 126. So 127 minus 126 gives you answer 26, 3427. Solve this using your Euclid's algorithm. Okay, I have solved this and I have got this answer. When you solve this, I get the greatest common divisor of 26, 3427 as 23. Similarly, when I add 172 plus 126 and find out the GCD of this number with 3427 using your Euclid's algorithm, okay, I get the answer as 149. Okay, so this 23 and 149 are two factors of your number 3427. Okay, so to verify what I'm going to do now, to verify I'm going to do step. I'm going to multiply 23 with 149. The answer is 3427. Okay, this is nothing but the n number which was given to us. Therefore, we have to write down the factors are of this number are nothing but 23 and 149. Okay, so this is basically a quadratic sieve method which is used to find out the factors of a given number. Okay, so let me quickly revise before I go to next example. Okay, so what is step number one? Step number one is nothing but to calculate what is the value of square root of n. Okay, so square root of n is nothing but 58 point something, which we rounded to 59. Okay, second is to find out, perform the square modulo n. Okay, square modulo is n is nothing but I need to calculate square root of n square, which number mod of n. Similarly, x square root of n plus 1, okay, which number mod of n. So I have to calculate these values of x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 until I get a perfect square. Okay, the moment I get a perfect square, I will stop at that particular point. So what I do now, first will be my square root of n square, that is 59, square root of n is 59, 59 square. Mod of 3427 is 54, which is not a perfect square. For 60 also 173 is not a perfect square. For 61 also 294 is not a perfect square. Similarly, we try to do it. So usually you have to do it here for 4 to 5 steps. Don't go further to waste your time. It will simply waste your time. Okay, so we are not getting a perfect square. So when we are not getting any of these perfect square, what is the option that is remaining is what I need to combine these things, right? I need to combine and check if factors of these equations are giving me a perfect square or not. Okay, so what I will do now, so step number 3 will be, so I will factorize each of these equations. So I will factorize x1, x2, x3, and I have found out the factors of it. Okay, and after that I will combine these factors. So I will make combinations of my factor number 1 with 2, my factor number 1 with 3, my factor number 1 with 4, and check which of the combination is giving me a perfect square. So what I do as step number 1, I combine first my equation number 154 and 173. It is nothing but here. Okay, these are the equation. Okay, equation number 1 and equation number 2. Okay, and find out if it is giving me perfect square. It is not giving me a perfect square because the answer is 96.65. So then I combine my equation number 1, that is this. Okay, equation number 1 with my equation number 3, that is this equation. Okay, I try to combine this equation. Okay, so when I combine this equation, what do I get? It will be 2 raised to 2 into 3 raised to 4, okay, into 7 raised to 2. So I get the answer as 15876, okay, and when I find out the square root of it, I am getting a perfect square as y. So I name my this values of 59 and 61, those are nothing but square root of n and square root of n plus 2 the whole square, okay, square root of n and square root of n plus 2 the whole square, okay, as your value of x, and y as the value which we have got as a square root of perfect square, okay, that is as y. Then what we do now, I need to check, this is a very important step, to check if x and y are greater than n. If x and y are greater than n, what will happen? You will have to reduce it. Now over here the value of x is was exceeding the value of n, that is nothing but 3427. So I need to find out 3599 mod of 3427, which is nothing but 172. So this is my new value of x, and my y value will remain as it is because your y value is less than n. So I don't need to change it. So now what I need to do, I got x and y, now I have to go to step number 3. Now in my step number 3, I need to verify the condition x should not be congruent to plus or minus y mod of n. So I directly substitute, this is for x plus x congruent to plus y mod n, and this is x congruent to minus y mod n. So both of them are not congruent, we are not getting a remainder as 0. That's why we satisfy the equation. If we satisfy the equation by two factors, first factor is GCD of x minus y comma n, second factor is GCD of x plus y comma n. Okay, so that's why I find out these two factors, that is factor number 1 and factor number 2. Okay, so when I calculate this, I get the first factor as 23, okay, and the second factor as 149. If I multiply this 23 plus 149, you multiply and check on your calculator, I get the value as 3427, which is nothing but my n. Therefore, my two factors of 3427 are nothing but 23 and 149. So always keep this in mind. You will get questions like this in the exam. I will give you more questions also for homework questions. But these are very important concepts which are asked in your unit 3. Okay, so unit 3. So you need to do this very important. So now we will continue this session with one more problem. Okay, I will just differentiate you all with one more problem. So now the second problem that is given to you over here is nothing but n is congruent to n value is given 6969. So we need to find out two factors of n, that is 6969. So step number 1 is what? You know, you need to find out the square root of n. So I find out the square root of n, it is giving me 83.48. 8, so I directly round it up to 84. I don't see what decimal, what digits are there after your decimal. The moment I get a decimal and the digits after it, I directly merge it to the next number, that is nothing but 84. Okay, now I have to calculate square modulo n. So square modulo n is nothing but, what was the formula over here to calculate square modulo n? It was basically square root of n, square root of n the whole square should be congruent to this value, nothing but your x1 value mod of n. Okay, x1 value mod of n. So I have done the same thing, square root of 84, this is n which we have calculated from step number 1. Okay, I need to find out what is the value of this mod of 699. So this is as good as I am calculating 84 square mod of 6969. Okay, so when I calculate 84 square mod 6969, I get the answer as 87. Okay, I get the answer as 87. So my 87 is a perfect square now. I need to check. No, 87 is not a perfect square. So what I need to do now? Here I have to do square root of n plus 1 the whole square. So 84 plus 1 is nothing but 85 the whole square congruent to x2 value mod n. So this is also nothing but it is as good as 85 square, okay, 80 square mod of 85 square mod of 6969. So over here I get answer as 256. Okay, 256. Now this is nothing but 256. So when I calculate the square root of this 256, I get the answer as 16. So 16 is nothing but 16 is a perfect square. Okay, 16 is nothing but a perfect square. So the moment I get a perfect square, what I will do now? Do I need to do step number 3 over here? So just go and just check behind. Do I need to do step number 3 over here? Why did I do step number 3? I did this step number 3 only because I was not getting a perfect square in step number 2. Okay. So if you look over here, I was not getting a perfect square in any of this equation. Okay, so that's why I did step number 3. So now I don't need to do step number 3. I have to jump directly to the step number 4. Okay, because I have already got my perfect square. That is nothing but my value. So that is nothing but my perfect square I got for value 85. That is nothing but this square root of 256 is nothing 16. So my new value of x will be, the value of x will be 85 and the value of y will be 16. This is as good, similar as what we have done over here. Okay, so if you see here, this was your x. Why the two numbers were there in x? Because we have combined the factors of two number. Okay, so we have combined the factors of two number and the square root of whatever number we were getting, that was the value as y. So the same thing we are doing over here. Okay, so x is nothing but the number plus square root of the number, we are taking it as y. So x value is 85 and y value is 16. So I need to check if x and y are greater than n. Very important step number 5. Now over here, what is the value of x? Is 85. Is 85 greater than n? No, it is less than n. Is 16 greater than n? No, it is also less than n. N value is what? N value is given as 6969. So we can go directly to step number 6 and verify. How do we verify now? So your x should not be congruent to plus or minus y mod of n. Okay, so the same thing I am doing over here. 85 is x value, plus or minus y is 16, and this is mod of 6969 is n. So for when we do it for plus, okay, when we do it for negative, I don't get remainder as 0. Neither when I do it for positive number, I don't get the remainder as 0. That means I am satisfying the equation. The moment I am satisfying the equation, what I will do? The moment I satisfy the equation, okay, the moment I satisfy the equation, what I do? I need to calculate two factors now. Okay. So how do I calculate these two factors? GCD of x plus y comma n and GCD of x minus y comma n. So these are the two factors. So what is x plus y? 85 plus 16 is 101. Okay, comma 6969. Use Euclid's method. Okay, use Euclid's method over here. I get the answer is 101 GCD. Similarly, GCD of x minus y. That is 85 minus 16. 85 minus 16 is nothing but 69. Comma 6969. So you can always see over here, even you don't need to solve, you can directly see based on number. So 6969, the greatest common divisor will 69, or you can use Euclid's algorithm, find out what is the answer. Each and every step, okay, in the problem will have marks. Okay, each and every, you cannot skip directly and write down what is the value of 69,699. Find out using Euclid's algorithm. So the second value that we got is, the factor that we have got is nothing but 69. To verify, I will just multiply 101 with 69 and get the answer as 6969. Therefore, 101 and 69 are the two factors of 6969. Okay. So I have solved this problem basically for you all to just understand how it is different from the other problems. So previous problem that we have solved. In previous problem, we were not getting a perfect square in step number 2. Okay, so because of which what we have done over here is we went to step number 3 to combine the find out the factors and then combine the two factors. Okay, over here in step number 2 we are getting a perfect square. The moment you are getting a step number 2, I will directly go to step number 4. In step number 4 I will calculate what is x, what is y. Step number 5 I will verify. Step number 6 I directly find out if x is not congruent to plus or minus y mod of n. If that equation satisfies, I will go and find out the two factors of n, that is GCD of x plus y comma n and GCD of x minus y comma n. Okay. So in this way, although this is a complex algorithm, okay, but you need to find out, okay, you need to solve more and more problem on this so that you understand the concept properly. Okay, so before we end, I will just like to give you one question as a homework question which you can solve and get back to me if you have any difficulty. Okay, so that question is nothing but you need to find out the factors of 1649 using quadratic cube. Okay, find out the factor of 1649 using quadratic sieve. Okay, so I am telling you once again, you won't understand this concept. Okay, you won't understand the concept in one go. You need to solve the problem which I have solved first. So do that first. Solve the problem which I have solved first. Okay, solve the second problem which I have solved first. Then go for problem number 3 which I have given the homework. Okay, so then you will be able to understand the concept more properly. Okay, compared to your other concepts. So try to solve it. Solving will make you perfect. Okay? Don't need to worry. If you have any doubts, you can come back to me. You can just ask me. Okay, I will solve all your queries. That's all for this question. Thank you.